my name's James Nave,
I'm Allegra Houston.
and welcome to the Imaginative Storm writing prompt.
This is our very first prompt of the week for the Imaginative Storm. We are a community that exists to support and encourage writers and those who are exploring writing as a creative pursuit.
And if you are wondering where the idea for the Imaginative Storm comes from, well, it comes from a poem written by Charles Wright titled Lonesome Pine Special. What is it inside your imagination that keeps surprising you at odd moments when something is given back you didn't know you had had, in solitude, spontaneously, and with great joy?
That is what the Imaginative Storm technique is about, the surprise and the joy. When you surprise yourself, you surprise your readers. Anything that surprises you is coming from an authentic place. It's one of those gifts that your imagination gives you. We base our workshops on 10-minute writing prompts. Why 10 minutes? Because we find that 10 minutes gives you long enough to really start getting into something quite interesting, but it's not long enough that it gives you lots of time at the beginning to worry about what you should write and get all tangled up in your rational mind about what you should and shouldn't do. You can think for 2 or 3 minutes about what you're going to write about, but then you just really have to dive in. And diving in without judgment and without attachment to the result is really what gives you the best material for whatever it is that you're writing.
And keep in mind that when you work with this concept, the imaginative storm, you're going from the imaginative storm to the creative form. So you're making an imaginative effort to create something, and then you're going to be turning it into form. And on that note, Allegra, what's the prompt?
So our prompt is going to be my favorite writing prompt, which I use again and again and again. What I would like you to do is bring to mind an event or a place or a person that you know well, perhaps a story you've told around a dinner table. And if you can't decide what to choose, maybe choose something that's associated with winter or snow or a time when you felt cold. We've said this because it's snowing here in Taos on the 17th of April. So once you have this event or place or person fixed in your mind, you know what you're going to write about. We're going to start writing, and Nave and I will be writing too. We're going to start writing with the words, I don't remember. And then I'll ask you to return to that thought, what you don't remember, in the course of the 10 minutes as you write.
And get ready, settle in, and begin. Okay, now take a little time to finish your writing and sit back, relax, and reflect a bit on the experience that you just had. And while you're reflecting, Allegra, would you tell everybody where you came up with this idea for this particular prompt?
Sure.
You invented it, I believe.
I did invent
There you
it.
go.
I invented it by accident. I was working on my book, Love Child, a memoir of family lost and found. And it begins when my mother is killed in a car crash and I'm 4 years old. So, as you can imagine, the memories, the very few memories that I have of my mother and the years before she was killed are very precious to me. And so there I was sitting in a coffee shop called Wired and writing in little 10-minute bursts, 10 minutes per memory, writing up these memories that I had, or rather that I thought I had. Because, of course, by now they've been reproduced again and again and again. You know, I sort of remember remembering them rather than remembering them directly. Anyway, the most important one was this memory I had of sitting in the drawing room of my mother's house in London and a woman coming in and saying, Allegra, your mother's new car is here. Come and see it. That was, you know, the car she was killed in. And I went to the window and looked down at the street, and there was the car. And as I was sitting there in the coffee shop, you know, with my eyes closed, putting myself back into that scene, I realized that the the picture that I had as I looked down at the car could not have been from the room I was sure I was in. It had to have been from higher up the house. The point of view shot was much steeper down. And as I tried harder and harder to put myself back in where what it must have been, not knowing now even what room I was in, my mother was to the left and then she was to the right. And the car I was sure was a bright red. But when I asked my godmother, she said, oh no, your mother would never have had a bright red car. I think it was dark blue. And she said, well, if it was red, it would have had to have been burgundy or something, but it certainly wasn't bright red. So there it was, my most precious memory, you know, evaporating, going to pieces in front of me or in my mind. And it was really a horrible experience. And I very nearly quit writing the book then and there because it was that upsetting. But I had determined to do this thing. I was going to write this book. And fortunately, I was in a coffee shop and I still had coffee and it was still warm and still had a bit of pastry. And so I thought, damn it, if I can't remember anything, I'm just going to write for 10 minutes about what I don't remember. And then later, when I came to type up all of that, I write all of these things by hand. I do generate all my raw material by hand. And then I type it all up and I put it in bits all over my bed and start putting it into some kind of order. And so I typed up the I don't remember 10 minutes as well as everything else. And much to my surprise, that ended up, not only did that material end up in the book, I think it was less edited, less rewritten than almost anything else in the entire book.
And what you may have discovered when you did this exercise, I don't remember whatever location you thought of or person you were working with, you likely discovered as you wrote about the things you didn't remember, you started to remember all sorts of things. So the memories will emerge from the I don't remember. And funny enough, you actually do have all of these memories somewhere inside of you. And when you say, I don't remember, you're really inviting yourself to remember.
That, and there is also another thing that I realized from this prompt, which is that just because I'm writing a memoir doesn't mean I have a better memory than everybody else. We all don't remember things that are incredibly important to us. And even if we think we remember them well, there are always all kinds of aspects to it that we don't remember. And I discovered when the book was published and you know people started to read it, or I did readings, public readings in bookshops, that often what I connected to, what people connected to in the book and connected to me about was the not remembering. We all don't remember these things. And since the point of writing a memoir really isn't to tell all the details of my life, because frankly, you know, who cares? It's not the Cuban Missile Crisis. Um, The point is to connect over our human experience. And we can connect just as well in the not remembering, maybe even better in the not remembering than sometimes we can in the details of a story.
You have a vast story to tell, and there's lots of atmosphere in there. And the I don't remember brings the atmosphere forward and pushes it out and gives you more to work with. So, Allegra, how can people follow up more on this?
We have a group on the Circle platform. The URL is imaginativestorm.circle.so. You'll find the prompt of the week there. Every week we post it. So there's a growing archive of writing prompts there that's open to the public. You can use as you see fit. We hope that if you enjoy yourself and like what you write, you will post it in the comments below the prompt.
So, everybody will get a chance to read your work if you are so moved to do that. And if you would like to quickly reach out to us, you can always email me, Nave at jamesnave.com. Nave is spelled Nave, Nave at jamesnave.com, and ask any question you like. Be glad to hear what you have to say, get back with you, send you all this information or whatever else you need.
And if you would like to join us live on Zoom on Saturday mornings, our time, we do it at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 5 p.m. London time, uh, and do these prompts all together live. Just email Nave and he will send you the Zoom link.
No problem. And thank you so much for putting your pen to paper and being with us for our first Imaginative Storm writing prompt.
Thank you. Goodbye.